Actually, I think it's just been unveiled, the Republican plan. But in the meantime, just to give you a heads up, Rand Paul, and my understanding is, and I have not seen the details of the plan. My understanding is supposedly the conservatives have won over the day, but I'm not convinced about that. The details I'm seeing now are that $70 billion in additional funds would be used to help reduce premiums. Okay, so we talked about this, right? We knew there was a $200 billion slush fund. They're going to help reduce premiums. Now, we don't know how long that's going to be, but they increased the subsidies, essentially. It would convert Medicaid from an open-ended entitlement to a system of fixed payments to states. All right, so this is really important for people to understand because you hear this a lot. They're turning it into a block grant. Now, as it is now, it is what is known as an economic stabilizer in some respects, right? Sort of like food stamps. Food stamps has a threshold. And if your income drops and your assets drop below a certain threshold, you become eligible for food stamps. So in the event of a major financial crisis, let's say, I know that rarely happens, but it does happen, and more people drop below there, food stamps will automatically expand to help those people. Now, and we see cuts to it, but that's the theory behind it. Medicaid is the same way. If you're eligible for Medicaid, you will get covered and you will get those benefits. However, when they change it to block granting, what they're doing is they're saying to each state, okay, you have a limited amount of funds. Do with it as you may. If you end up having more people living in poverty, more children living in poverty, more elderly going into nursing homes, having spent all their assets because we also are screwing them on the Social Security side and 401ks don't work. In fact, we're going to have an entire interview about it now. But 60% of elderly in nursing homes are being paid for by Medicaid. If you end up having more, this is what the federal government says to the states, if you end up having more people in the future than you have now who have those needs, you are SOL, crap out of luck, COL. And block granting is a way of basically preventing the program for addressing what's going on for population growth, for any financial hardships that may befell people. It's a way of cutting Medicaid and changing it from what it is fundamentally, a guarantee of some form of ability to pay for some health care. And it would undercut that. There is also, it appears that Ted Cruz's proposal is going to be adopted. And this is Rand Paul showed up on Fox and Friends today to discuss the details of the bill. But the understand that the Cruz provision, there's another way of saying this. It's called adverse selection. But let's let Rand Paul make his pitch first.
I think we can offer something better than Obamacare. What I've been offering is there's 27 million people that were left behind by Obamacare who have no insurance currently. What I've been offering is a plan that would offer insurance to all of them at a cheaper price. Let every individual in this country, plumbers, pest control, carpenters, welders, let them join together in associations so they can get group insurance at a cheaper price. But you have to believe in freedom. You have to believe that leaving people alone, that the marketplace will bring the prices down.
Yeah, okay. So the freedom thing, what the freedom is, it's the freedom. In fact, the consumer freedom option that Ted Cruz allows insurers to sell plans that are compliant with the Affordable Care Act, but then ones that are not compliant with the Affordable Care Act. So in other words, you can sell the cars with all the safety features, but you'll also get the opportunity to sell the car that occasionally blows up. when it gets hit from behind. I mean, this is the ultimate libertarian wet dream, right? I mean, this is the caller who called in and said, you know, why shouldn't Ford be able to sell the Pinto that explodes? If they tell people that it'll explode, some people will still want to buy it because it'll be offered at a lower price. And that's basically what they're doing. They're offering the exploding Ford Pintos. But these are all, incidentally, these are all guaranteed to explode if you need them. And what this is known, is adverse selection, or this is going to create a situation where we have adverse selection. So, for people who have reason to believe that, at least in the short term, they're not going to need robust health insurance that actually functions the way it should, they will buy the non-compliant one. For people who have a reason to believe, and maybe they have pre-existing conditions, and maybe they have something that runs in their family, who knows? Maybe they're older. Maybe their jobs are more difficult, physically demanding. They will buy the legit health insurance. And what will happen is the risk pool for the legit health insurance will be much riskier for the insurer. And the risk pool, the pool of applicants, and the amount of risk for those in the non-compliant insurance will be a lot less riskier. So that'll be a cheaper plan because they don't have to pay out. And what will happen with the plan where you have people who have a higher risk of getting sick, that will become so incredibly expensive that most people who really need health insurance will not be able to get it. And we will return to the situation that we were before the Affordable Care Act, although probably worse because we're going to see some problems with the employer-based health insurance that nobody seems to be talking about. But need to see the details. So that's what freedom will bring about. It is the freedom of people to be hoodwinked into buying insurance that won't be there when they need it. And it is the freedom for people to say, oh my gosh, the insurance I need is way too expensive for me. At least I have the choice to risk bankrupting my family as opposed to not the choice to bankrupt my family. And that's basically what freedom's going to get us. Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos